Today's topic is going to be about something that's really near and dear and true to my heart. What I've struggled with, what a lot of people struggle with, is depression. And we're talking about it, but we're not talking about it. And I think it's so important to kind of jump in and really dig in to how to deal and cope when you're depressed. Who do you talk to? Who do you go to? What do you do anything? And so it's important that we figure out how to function when going through depression. And we all get depressed for different reasons. You know, some could be a loss of a job, a loss of a mate, family, friend. Um, it could be so many different things, and some, when we get depressed, it's quick. It could be an hour, a day. It could just happen, and it's temporary. And then some are extended, where it's chronic. And what are ways to deal so we don't go so far to where we don't want to be here anymore? And I think it's important. Story. I'm going to introduce Apple Jones. She's my favorite person in the world. She really is, because she's gone through a series of things that when I look back and I hear her stories, I'm amazed that she's even here. So Apple Jones was in love with this man. They were a couple. She had a child already, and she was just living. She was just living her life. She wasn't thinking about anything. She met this man doing laundry. On a Saturday, she was doing her laundry. As a matter of fact, if anybody in Brooklyn knows Juve, it was around the time of Juve when they met. Anyway, she minding her business, doing her laundry. Long story short, they linked together, and they were together for some time. At some point, the relationship just took a turn, and it wasn't good anymore. As a matter of fact, it was really toxic, but they both stayed in. So I feel like in that relationship, they were both at some point toxic for each other, but they didn't want to separate from the relationship because they loved each other, so they stayed. For Apple, it got worse. She didn't tell family and friends about how she was feeling, what she was dealing with, how she was coping. So at some point, she tried to take her life. That's when she realized she needed help. She went in the bathroom, she took a bunch of pills, and she just didn't want to be here anymore. At the same token, she was pregnant and didn't know. She didn't even know what to do in her life. And at that moment, she felt like it was better to leave than not be here. She ran at some point after her son came out, gave her a hug, and realized she made the biggest mistake of her life, called her sister, and that's where she tried to get the help. But it was almost too late for Apple. So anyway, got to the hospital. Apple said that she felt at that moment, I really just don't want to be here. This is not, I don't know how to do this anymore. So she decided that don't help me. But she still wanted the help. So she kind of battled, even in the hospital. She didn't know what to do. At some point, after they pumped her and made sure that all the junk was out of her body, she told me that they put her in this room. It was a small room. And it's funny, as she told me the story, I was like, this is wow. Because I really didn't know, right? She said they put her in this room. It was just her by herself. And she said at that moment, she was just like, what am I doing? Where am I going now? What is happening? How did I get here? Right? Um, she said a man came in, and what he gave her really was the turning point of what she should do. So she got this magazine. The magazine was exactly what she needed. It was spiritual. And she said at that moment it changed her life because she realized she wanted to be here. After 3 days of struggling in this place, she lost her baby, the unborn child. And when she finally spoke to the doctor warned her and let her know that at this point, if she ever did that again, she would lose her child. So that really made her decide that, you know what, it's better to be here, not only for her child, but for herself. And she wanted more. She decided that this was it. She needed to fix whatever was happening in her life, and she did. It took a lot of time for Apple to really bounce back. She started doing things that really helped, and we'll kind of talk about the things that she did, but she's here to this day, and so happy that she's here. Stories like that, it's happening more and more, and a lot of times the results are not the happy ones. We're hearing more and more people deciding that this place that we're in right now is not worth it. And they're deciding to leave and leaving everything behind, but especially the life and the body that they're in. So let's talk about, what do we do when we're at that place? What are the triggers? And how to have help, how to get help. Okay, so if you're ever depressed, what do you do? Do you play a song? Do you watch a movie? Did the movie depress you? Because sometimes when we think about depression, sometimes it's because we're lonely and we want a special someone, but there's no one around, right? There's not a quality man or woman for us to be with. So we struggle with being by ourselves. Or it could be a situation where maybe we're not as close to family and friends like we used to because of being busy with work. And so the distance is making us feel alone. Or maybe it's a situation where we lost someone and we feel like without that person, we can't live. You know, so again, there's so many different scenarios, but how do we cope? You know, what do we do? A friend told me that the best medicine for her is to change her scenery, to do something totally different, go away on vacation. And I think that's beautiful. That's an amazing start to changing environment, building yourself up. For me, when I get depressed, I pray. I play music. I hug and love my kids. I talk to family and friends, you know, and those things help. And then for me too, the other thing that really helps is me creating. This platform helps. Doing something that you've been wanting to do, but now you decide to finally do it, that helps. Write a book, start a novel, walk. There's so many ways. Take a bath. You know, self-care is really important to me, especially there's days when I may not feel pretty at all. And on those days, I think I pamper myself 100 to 200% more because I may not like what I look like in the mirror. We're all getting older. You know, we getting the wrinkles and hair loss and getting chubbier or losing weight. It could be so many things. And beside the outside noise, we have the inside noise. And so just try to love yourself. Reach out to family and friends because you are worthy. You know, don't wait until you get to a point where Apple was to decide that this in this body is worth it. You know, you can reach out to me. I'm not perfect and I'm just one person, but people do reach out to me. That's why I decided to do this video, because I met an amazing woman yesterday by phone. She needed something else on a different platform and asked me if I could help. And we wound up talking about her life. And before I knew it, she said she felt better. You know, so again, small things can make us feel better. That could soothe us, even if it's a temporary soothing without including bad habits. Because that's, again, another topic for a whole nother time. But comfort can come from an array of places where we just want to make sure that they're healthy. Because again, sometimes those things that we use as comfort can be the source of where we are even getting the depression in the first place. So we want to be careful with how we self-soothe or self-care and make sure that they're healthy. So I just really wanted to talk about that for a minute and just let you know that you are worth it. We all are, you know, so we're so stuck in our heads sometimes. And sometimes we have so much of the outside noise that we bring it in. Sometimes we just need to close the door of the outside noise. Sometimes we have to say, I gotta go, right? But not go away from this body and this life, but just, I gotta go from the noise. And it's okay. If you gotta hit that block on your phone, block. You know, if you need quiet on a Friday, Saturday, do that. Catch up on your reading. You know, listen to something that's going to be encouraging. And again, family and friends are so key to this, I feel. So I hope this helps someone. And we do need to call each other and love each other up like we did during the pandemic. I felt like we did a lot of that then. Let's remember our family and friends. Let's remember those that we don't see from time to time. Let's give them a call and let's make sure that they're okay. You know, and I have a list of people that I need to reach out to as well. So I'm just not talking, I do it too. So let's do that. I hope that this helps somebody. And just know that you're not alone. We all go through it. You know, some are just, it's all different for everybody. But if you're going through it, we're all here. You're not alone and you don't have to take that last final step. You know, so I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. You are loved. And I love you. See you soon.